From the faunal point of view, special focus is made on the area in the centre of Georgia, at the junction of Ajara, Imereti and Lichi Ridge, where Borjomi-Kharagauli National Park is founded. Landscapes of West Georgia as well as East Georgia, arid landscapes resulting in diversity of fauna in the national park. There are a great many rainbow trout in clear and cold streams on the park territory. This predatory fish inhabits only clear waters. Unique amphibians of our fauna, Caucasian salamander, inhabits mountainous, humid gorges. A mature salamander is 17 centimeters long, including its tail. This amphibian has a very reserved life. It begins to spawn at the age of 12 to 15 years. It hides its several dozen eggs under fallen leaves in the water. Hatched larva remains in water for up to 4 years. In case of danger, the male salamander tears off its tail like a lizard. Caucasian salamander is included in the Red Book. Three species of newts inhabit the territory of the national park. Smooth newt is no longer than 9 centimeters. Banded newt is included in the Red Book as an endemic of the Middle East and rare species. It is about 15 centimeters long. During reproduction, males acquire rather beautiful colouring. Crested newt is brown from the top. It has an orange belly and is covered with dark spots. The Caucasian mud diver is a Caucasian endemic. Its black body is covered with knobbles, making an X shape near its head. They occur in humid forests. It is a very rare species included in the Red Book. The Caucasian brown frog is an endemic species of the Middle East. It does not exceed 7 centimeters. The colour ranges from red to black. The legs are orange from below. It occurs at the altitude above 2,000 meters. Its reproduction period is in May. Lake frogs gather in small reservoirs during the reproduction period. During this period, males utter loud voice through double resonators. Thousands of tadpoles hatched from spawn grow quickly, creating significant biomasses. There are 2 types of toads on the territory of the national park. The green toad is 8 centimeters long. It is light green and the color of snuff. The Caucasian toad is an endemic species. It is rather big, reaching in length 13 to 14 centimeters long. For reproduction, they use warm reservoirs. The female toad produces about 10,000 spawns. The national park reptile fauna is very diverse. Here I would like to describe a number of interesting species. The Caspian lake turtle appears near reservoirs. This reptile feeds on fish and amphibians. The slow worm is a widespread species. It is 50 centimeters long, including its tail. During the evolution period, this lizard lost its legs and now resembles a snake. The female slow worm carries eggs in its belly. It likes light but humid places. The glass lizard prefers to inhabit arid places. It is about 1 meter long and horrifies people who are unaware of its harmless nature. These useful lizards exterminate harmful insects and mollusks. The Caucasian agama is a big lizard about 25 centimeters long. It inhabits mostly Mskvari Canyon, on roadside rocks, and avoids humid places. Its body is covered with knobbles and thorny excrescences. The beautiful green middle lizards of about 35 to 40 centimeters long occur in relatively arid areas. Young animals have 3 light stripes. The male's neck turned turquoise during reproduction. It is spread in arid bare areas of the national park. The spiny-tailed lizard is an endemic species of West Georgia. It is no longer than 15 centimeters. The color ranges from brown to green. It occurs in the lower zone of the forest. The red-bellied lizard is endemic species of southwest Caucasus. It is no longer than 10 centimeters, including the tail. It is spread in forest zones and inhabits almost everywhere in the national park. There are a large number of artvini lizards in rocks. They live in colonies. The ring snake is very common in the park. It differs from other snakes by its dark colour and yellow and orange spots on the head. It is 60 centimetres long, feeds on amphibians and their tadpoles. The field viper is about 70 centimetres long. It occurs in arid places and hides from cold in haystacks. It is venomous and feeds on small animals. The snuff colour swimmer is a 1 metre long harmless snake. It appears in rocky hillsides and forest edges. It is the quickest snake of our fauna, feeds on lizards. The yellow-bellied swimmer is a beautiful 2 metre long snake. It occurs on forest edges, fields, neighbouring rivers. This is the most aggressive snake of our fauna, does not avoid humans and often attacks them. Stings are painful. It feeds on small mammals and amphibians. The multicoloured swimmer occurs in the eastern part. It is 1 metre long, appears in arid places, rocks, extraphyte thorny shrubberies, feeds on amphibians and small lizards. The physical and geographical location, climate, fragmented terrain, and the location of the national park on the territory of concentration of various landscapes determines richness and diversity of avifauna. Black kite is a medium-sized predatory bird. It appears in the forest zone as well as in fields. Hunts for small-sized vertebrates, whom it easily notices from a long distance, thanks to its keen eyesight. It lays 3 to 4 eggs in May. The goshawk is quite a large-sized predatory bird. It feeds on small mammals. Unlike other predatory birds, it hides and runs after its victim on the ground. It appears on the upper zone of the forest in the park territory. The peregrine is a middle-sized bird. It often makes its nests in rock clefts. Nestlings remain in the nests for about 1 month. Both parents look after them. The peregrine feeds on birds hunting in the air. When it notices its victim, it flies down in a vertical direction, developing 300 kilometers per hour speed. The sparrowhawk is a small-sized bird. It inhabits forests. When flying, it maneuvers gracefully between trees. It lays 4 to 5 eggs in May. The kestrel is a middle-sized peregrine. A male kestrel has a blue head. It can soar in the air for long periods and feeds on small animals. The raven is a large-sized bird with a strong constitution. It confronts even other predatory birds and often attacks them. The jay inhabits different types of forests. In winter it feeds on acorn in oak forests, hiding them in fallen leaves. The hoopoe occurs at about 2,500 meters above the sea level. It likes open places, lives in tree hollows and rock clefts, and lays 7 to 8 eggs in April. The bee-eater is a beautiful coloured bird, inhabits fields or sparse forests, lives in colonies, feeds on thin winged insects including bees. The red-headed woodpecker occurs on the whole territory of the park, lives in tree hollows, pecks out insects and their larvae from tree bark with its strong beak, and lays 5 eggs in April. The greater spotted woodpecker occurs mostly in mountain middle-line forests, feeds on pests, living in tree bark, and makes nests in tree hollows. The hawfinch is the size of a thrush. The male hawfinch is pink. It is easily recognizable. The hawfinch has a massive beak and uses it to peck strong fruit stones and eats its contents. There are several species of blackcap on the park territory. These small-sized birds occur in deciduous and mixed forests, feed on insects, plant seeds, and berries. The white wagtail inhabits open areas, watersides, nesting on earth. The yellow wagtail likes relatively humid places, builds nests in shrubs. Wagtails feed on insects and small crustacea. The mountain wagtail looks like the yellow wagtail, dwells in alpine zone at mountain stream sides. The dipper occurs nearby clear streams, is a good diver, feeds on aquatic invertebrate animals. The missel thrush is a forest inhabitant. Unlike the blackbird, it is a migrant bird, visiting the park in May and June. The great titmouse is the biggest species of its family and lives in forests and close to people settlement in winters, and feeds on insects. The male red-fronted seron has bright colours, lives at the forest edges, gardens, fields, and feeds on plant seeds, peeling them back with its beak. The crossbill has a beak of peculiar construction, enabling it to peck seed from fir cones. There are 64 species of mammals registered on the national park territory. The East European hedgehog is quite a common species. It occurs in arid areas, fields, shrubs, and often nearby people settlements. This peculiar animal feeds on insects and small vertebrate. There are numerous species of bats in the park. These animals make large colonies in remote caves. They are active in the evening and morning hours, and feed on insects. Their number is diminishing all over the world, and they need to be protected. The Caucasian squirrel appears in the forest zone, often close to people settlements, and feeds on plants. The weasel is the smallest predatory representative of mammals worldwide. It occurs at forest edges on the park territory. It is extremely fast, feeds on small rodents and birds' eggs. The wolf occurs on the whole territory of the park. These large-sized predatory beasts hunt in packs. Wolves make their lairs in remote places. A female wolf bears up to 10 cubs a year. The red fox appears on the whole territory of the park, lives in shrubs, forests, alpine meadows, digging a den of its own or using and widening a badger's hole. A fox feeds on animals as well as plants, and reproduces once a year, bearing 6 to 5 cubs. The brown bear is the biggest animal of the park. It sometimes can be seen at the altitude of 3,500 metres above the sea level, though it mainly lives in the forests. It makes a lair in rocks and caves. It is dangerous to come across a bear in the forest. It is not scared of people. Its main food is berries, mushrooms, wild pear and wild bee honey. But in cases of shortage of food, it can also attack cattle. The pine marten is common in the forests of the park. This small-sized predatory animal feeds on birds and small mammals. Once a year, a female produces a litter of 3 to 5. The wild pig occurs only in Kharagauli section of the park. This animal lives in forests. Piglets have peculiar stripes on the back. The red deer represents the beauty of the national park. Unfortunately, due to poaching and other types of disturbance, their number has dramatically reduced during recent years. For this reason, this magnificent animal is included in the Red Book. The female has no horns, but the male has large branched horns, which fall off in February to May. September to October is their reproductive period. The female bears 1 calf in May, sometimes in September, and the young has spots on its body. The roe deer is a graceful and beautiful animal. This ungulate animal also needs to be protected, since their population has significantly diminished during recent years. The female has no horns, and a male has horns with 3 to 4 branches. The chamois is a nearly extinct species, strongly affected by anthropogenic influences. Apart from the Caucasus, it occurs almost everywhere in the European mountains. Chamois weighs 30 to 50 kilos. Since it lives in rocks, its front legs are shorter than its hind legs. A female bears 2 to 3 kids.